We're live. Here we go. There we are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is share my screen with you. Start sharing. And what I want to bring up is not that one. Not that one. This one. So you see the risk. Where's it gone? Oh. It's because I've got the. There we go. I've got the Skype on. So are you seeing this? You seeing the screen there?
Yes.
I think we've got to be careful here with just going too fast with the. So this is the article that comes from the Thinking into Results program. Well, this comes from that rather than the You Were Born Rich. But I really like this article. It's only a couple of pages. It's only a couple of pages. So I'm just going to read through that with you, and then we can have a think about what he's talking about. So. There we go. I'm going to do it like that because then I can see your face as well, rather than just looking at this article. So that's big enough on the screen for you to be able to read that with me, is it? Can you see that?
Okay.
So, right, this. Can you see that? Okay.
I was blowing it up some. Okay. I had it. Okay, I'm good now.
Okay, so dictionary tells us that to risk is to expose oneself to the chance of loss. I suppose that's true. Another piece of literature, author unknown, suggests that to laugh is to risk appearing the fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out for another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk exposing your true self. To place your ideas, your dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. To love is to risk not being loved in return. And to live is to risk dying. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. You may avoid suffering and sorrow if you don't risk, but you simply cannot learn, feel, change, grow, love, or live. The greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing does nothing and thus has nothing. Only a person who risks is free. What causes individuals to shy away from taking a risk, even if it's a low risk and will give them something they really want? Well, certainly high on most people's list would be fear of loss, failure and perceived humiliation if the loss were to occur. Why would we automatically think that we would fail at something? Why wouldn't we first try and see, and then if we did fail, learn from that experience and move on? What causes us to have these thoughts of inferiority? It dates back to our little life, and since risk-taking is likely not a subject that was taught in school, a person's fear of taking risks might stem back from before they can even remember. When you were a child taking your first steps, it wasn't uncommon to hear one of your parents or guardians say, "Be careful, you might fall," or "Don't do that," or "Don't do that, you'll..." Though some of this is rhetoric and you don't really pay much attention to it, for some it begins the pattern of playing it safe. Think how much better equipped we'd be to face life's challenges and succeed if we had repetitively heard, "Take a chance and don't worry about falling," because you're going to fall, probably quite often. Falling is an important part of learning. Many of the greatest lessons you'll receive in life are going to come from falling, from your failures. Failing will never make you a failure unless you quit. Unfortunately, very few people heard that when they were small. The vast majority of our population have been mentally programmed to play it safe. A little baby is a natural born risk taker. Baby never considers the consequences of falling when it's learning to walk. Falling is acknowledged as a natural consequence to learning to walk. I guess you could call it calculated gamble. It's a prerequisite to mastering a myriad of motor skills required to get you on your feet and moving. It's a natural process in progression in movement. Why then wouldn't we stop to consider that any movement into uncharted territory should be viewed with the same consideration? Why is it that we do not see the process of reaching our goals as having steps similar to the ones the baby must take in order to learn to walk? There will be some stumbling and falling in the learning process, but success can only be reached when we're prepared to take those steps, all of them, even the ones where we may fall down. The real win is the confidence and experience we acquire, which translates into new opportunities for growth, enjoyment, and expansion in all areas of our life. There's a four-letter word that most parents use around their children so frequently that the children pick it up, and before too long it's buried in the treasury of their subconscious mind. And that four-letter word is can't. The word has done more damage than a lot of other frowned upon four-letter words put together. Can't is a word that paralyzes any constructive progress. It switches your mind into a negative frequency. It's a four-letter word that will open your mind to a never-ending flow of logical, practical reasons which enable you to justify why you are not able to do something you sincerely want to accomplish. The only alternative to that four-letter word is its polar opposite, I can. I can is far more important than IQ. You don't necessarily have to be very smart to win, but you must be willing. Reaching the goal is not success. Success is moving towards the goal. Taking risks is essential when you want to reach a goal, and the purpose of the goal is growth. When you challenge yourself, you bring more of yourself to the surface. If you dream of living your life in a really big way, you must accept risk-taking as being a real part of the apprenticeship that you must serve. Make a decision right now to change. Decide this very moment there will be no more playing it safe, no more saving it for a rainy day type thinking in your life. When people get caught up in the habit of saving it for a rainy day, that is generally what they get, a rainy day. There are a number of people that limit themselves and refuse to take a risk. They never truly test the strength of their abilities. You will never get to second base if you keep one foot on first. Too many people go through their entire lives playing their cards close to their chest. They never step out and bet on the surest thing in the world, themselves. If you hope to accumulate great wealth or achieve high goals, history records that the first few steps have a high degree of risk. You must turn your back on safety and security. To make it big, you must take big risks. You will very likely have to put yourself in a highly vulnerable position. It's also worth remembering you cannot almost take a risk. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face." Follow her advice and liberate yourself from the crippling emotional state of fear and enter into the world of freedom. So, what do we think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with it. At one point, I know that like change was so hard for me, Corey. Oh my gosh, just the stress and anxiety it caused me, the thought of change, I would get set and this is the way it is and just that routine and that's the way I liked it.
Yeah.
The change that since I've gotten older, I've realized how important change is. And then especially at that last little bit of life that I went through, that's really let it sink in as far as how important it is to continue to change and grow as we move forward in life. So, I feel like that I have down pat pretty much as far as, realizing that you got to take risk. I mean, Because like with this job, I mean, I could have let that fear hold me back. Like, oh, what about this? What about that? Yeah, I mean, it sucks being away from my girls for a little bit, but this was something I really felt like this is what I needed to do. This is what I really needed to do for a little bit to get to where I want to go next, just to take that next step forward in the right direction. So, um,
What was your first thoughts when you got the job? So obviously you stepped out your comfort zone for what you're doing right now.
oh yeah, because it's way out of my comfort zone. I mean, at first, I turned it down. Then I was like, I talked to him again, and I took the job. And then when I had to leave, it's like, oh crap, did I make the right decision? It's like, am I really doing this?
Yeah.
So it's just, I had to be like, no, I mean, it's too late now. Okay, you're doing this. Just you got to suck it up and go with it, and just hope it works out. So, I mean, that's kind of what I did, was just like, okay, well, I mean, we're here now. I've already quit my other job. I'm here now, so let's make the best of this experience and do what I come here to do, so I can move forward and on to the next phase of life.
Yeah. Why did you turn it down originally? Was it the travel?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you turn it down originally? What was the reason?
The girls, being away from my girls.
Right. So it was family, being away from the family, being on the road.
Yeah.
Not getting to see them.
I mean, that's what's tough. But I'm like, okay, this is just temporary, and then I'm going to be back home with y'all. Like, starting this summer, I'm going to start looking for something else to get back home. May take me a few months, but I have no doubt in my mind that I'll find something comparable to move into. Just know that there's something out there, and it'll happen when that time's right.
Once you move to a certain level, then that becomes the base to move to the next level, doesn't it? So where you are right now, you can step away from that and still be able to step into something of a comparable level. Like you're not going to take a pay cut now. I'm pretty sure of that.
No, and I don't believe so either. That's why it's like,
No.
because at first when the thought of looking for another job, even though like I know it's okay this summer, I'm not even going to worry about it till this summer, because come this summer I can use the experience I have and put it on my resume and redo it.
Yeah.
Start looking for another job. So
Yeah.
I was like, until then, there's no need to stress and worry about it. I was like, and even then, I was like, I've been telling myself, there's no need to stress and worry when I start looking for another job, because even though I'm not staying here for that whole year to get that bonus, that few $1,000 bonus is nothing compared to what I'm going to be stepping into. I'm not going to be, I just claim right now that I'm not going to be taking a pay cut when I leave here, that it's going to be equal, if not better, than what I'm doing now. So, I do believe that, and I think it's going to be okay. And it's been very nice. It's like, I won't settle for less. Like, I mean, heck, I just spent $3,000 a day or two ago paying off my cruise. It's great and I still have some money in savings. So it's really great to be able to get this washer and dryer for the house, to go on this cruise that I want to go on with the kids, and to still be able to save money and put money back for moving this summer and buying stuff for the house and doing things I want to do. So.
Yeah. Well, as you believe, so it is. I think that you've reached that point now where you've changed. We've talked, this whole program that we've been working through is about changing paradigms, isn't it? About changing these beliefs and these ideas and these feelings that you have about yourself and about your environment and your life. And I think you've reached a point in yourself where you're not going to accept anything less. Like we talk about accepting abundance. You decided that that's how it's going to be, and as a result of that, that's how it's going to be. I don't think there's any struggle in you for that. There's no doubt. Like, you wouldn't step away from this job if there was any doubt in your mind that you wasn't going to replace it with something that was equal or greater.
And I'm telling you, Corey, with this cruise thing, like before, writing a check for a few $100s even would, like anything over a few $100s would just cause me stress and anxiety for some reason. It don't matter if I had the money or not. When I would write a check and it would be more than a couple $100s, other than a bill here and there occasionally or my rent, it would freak me out. Like there was something about it that just really bothered me and caused me anxiety. So, I got this washer and dryer, and that was fairly easy for me. It was a big purchase, but it was like, And then a part of me was like, oh, wow, I can't believe I'm fixing to spend this much on a washer and dryer. But I was like, that's what this money's for. That's what I'm saving it for, is to, get things that I need and to have the nice things that I want. So, I made that purchase, and then I had to go pay this cruise off. And it was like, I mean, thinking about it too, it's like, that's a lot of money. It's like, wow. It's like, it was $2,700 left to pay on it. And it's like, I'm really fixing to spend $2,700 on this cruise. But, I did. I called, and, at first it's like, okay, well, let me pay $2,000. I'll pay the rest off in 2 weeks. And, I was like, no, I have all of it. I just need to pay this. I've got it. I've got money left over. It's no big deal. Yeah. Just pay it. It's like, this is what you've been wanting to do. I mean, this is, you've been saving for this. So, I had to kind of talk to myself about that one, because it's like, I can tell it's not bothering me as bad as it used to. Which feels really good. It feels really good to have that freedom and to not be scared, I guess, to spend large amounts of money.
Yeah.
But it's taken me a while to get to this point I'm at right now,
If you can give that money with joy and happiness, you're going to receive it back tenfold. If you can give without that feeling, or before you were giving the money away with a feeling of from a mindset of lack and scarcity, wasn't it? Yeah. It's like, it's holding on to it because whatever the belief was, is coming from that lack and scarcity perspective. So it didn't want to give it. But it's like we talk about in the first chapter in the book, money must circulate. Money is just energy. Like, if the blood stops circulating in your body, then you've got a problem. If the water stops flowing in the rivers, then we've got a problem. Everything has to move. Like the whole universe is in a state of movement, and it's the same with the money. It's just energy. That's all it is. You can attract it back into your life, and if you give it away with joy, it's going to come back to you tenfold over anyway. Once you've reached that state where you can do that and you can let it go, be in a relaxed mental state, then you're the master. You've become the master, not the servant. Money's the servant. When you call it, it will come back to you. And I think you know that now anyway. You talk about like your attitude towards the job and quitting and all that kind of stuff. It's like it's not a worry for you. You've allowed that energy to start to flow mentally, and what that means.
I know what my purpose is and what I'm moving toward. Like I said, I don't know how I'm going to get there exactly, but I trust and know that it's going to happen. This is, over here, this is where I'm headed. This is where I'm going. Yeah. And just got to enjoy the journey along the way of getting there.
Yeah. Think about how much joy you're going to have on the cruise. Think about what you're actually.
Oh gosh, I was looking it up, Corey, and this is going to be absolutely amazing. This ship is freaking amazing. The game shows they have on there, they got arcades, ice skating rings, laser tag, sky jump zones, and I mean, it's just water slides and stuff. The flow rider wave simulator. I mean, just anything and everything you can imagine on this cruise, and it's all inclusive, so I don't have to worry about food or drinks. The only thing I have to pay for is the water park. At the island that they bought, they have the huge water park beside one of the islands next to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Called Coco Cay. So, and I think they told me the tickets were like $40 for all day. So I'm like, okay, that's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm super stoked. I mean, I was watching the video yesterday about the cruise ship, just wanting to get familiar with the ship and what all it has to offer, and what all we could be doing. And I just got so excited looking at it. It's like, this is just so beautiful and so amazing. And just to know that me and my girls are going to have this experience, this first cruise experience together, here soon, and it's paid for. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I've just got to get us all there and show up, and we are good to go.
Is it 3 of you?
Well, there's 4 of us going. Jared, the guy I'm seeing,
he's
going.
You as well.
And then my 2 girls.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I tell you, like, me and Gabriella went to Paris. Like, we went to Paris the other week. That was, we got there Thursday afternoon and we come back Sunday. We had 3 nights, and that was like, that would have been about $3,500. for 3 nights, and we were at the Ritz Hotel, one of the most amazing hotels in the world. And I was just thinking, like, first of all, like, your environment is a reflection of your mind, or where you are vibrationally. And I was like, well, look at where we are. We're in one of the most famous hotels in the world, at the Ritz in Paris. We've got 2 waiters waiting on our every command. And I was like, this is amazing. It's like, I didn't even think about the money once. I thought I was just thinking, I must be in such a good vibration for this to be happening. The money's irrelevant. It's not about the money. The money will just come back and whatever. Do you know what I mean? The money will come back tenfold. I'll just make sure that I enjoy this moment. It's all about experience. Having the experience and being in the moment and just having that enjoyment. And just by doing that, keeps the flow of energy going. So don't even think about the money. Focus on the amazing time you're going to have with your partner and with your kids, and going around the Bahamas.
Yes.
Oh, you see, tropical beaches, probably green waters.
I do want to do some snorkeling.
There you go.
Maybe get to do some do some diving or snorkeling while we're there.
It's going to be amazing. So this bit at the beginning here says, it tells us that risk is to expose oneself to loss. I much prefer the second part here, where it says risk is to laugh is to risk appearing the fool, or to place your ideas before a crowd is to risk their loss. By not taking action, you risk the rewards of that action. I'd much prefer to look at it like that. So, and then he talks about down here, like, why we have this kind of like fear mentality. And the reason is, it goes back to our conditioning that we've talked about in previous sessions, that our parents tell us to be careful, all of this kind of stuff. We're taught that to take a risk is to risk losing, to risk getting hurt. How many times have people like not put their heart into a relationship because of the risk of what might happen in a negative way? And if you hope to accumulate great wealth or achieve high goals, history records that the first few steps are always going to have a high degree of risk. You must always turn your back on the safety and security, because to make it big, you must take these risks.
That plays along with the law of vibration. I mean,
yeah.
If you're sitting there letting fear hold you back and not taking these risks because you're scared, then you're putting yourself in that vibration, that lower vibration. So it's going to cause these negative attraction, in your life. So
fill it for you. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
The thing that you fear is going to come to visit you.
Exactly. So here you didn't even step out and do what you were afraid to do, but this negative reaction happened anyway. So then it really, I think, keeps you in that scared mindset, like, oh, if this happened when I didn't even do anything, what's going to happen if I do? So I think it kind of keep that people look at it the wrong way and let that hold them back even more.
Yeah. There was a girl at the swimming pool the other day. She was only young. She was like 17. And I kind of talk to her and coach her a bit. Like, she comes in and has a sauna, and if she's in there, kind of always give her a little bit of kind of informal coaching. And she's talking about this guy that she liked, and she said, I was with, she's only 17, so it's all kind of, but she's like, I was with him a couple of years ago, and then he wanted to break up with me because he said he needed to see other people, and now he's back, and I like him. And she's like, I can't stop thinking about him, and I've just had a big argument with my mum. And I was like, because your mum wants you to stay away from him, right? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, let me give you my advice here. And I said, go and do it. I said, the guy's a douchebag. We talked about it, and I said, the guy's a douchebag. You're way too good for him. He's a complete and utter douchebag. He's going to break your heart. Go and do it. Go and let him break your heart. Go into it. Put 2 feet first, jump in, let him. He's going to use you. He's going to use you for sex. He's going to call you when he wants you, and he's going to ignore you when he doesn't want you. And when somebody else comes along that he likes more, he's going to leave you, and he's going to leave you with a broken heart. And you know all this. And she said, yeah. And I said, now go and do it. And don't tell my mum that I told you to do it. And she just went, I was like, because you're going to do it anyway. And I said, just listen to what I'm saying now and then come back to this in a year from now, or 18 months, or 6 months, or 3 weeks, however long it takes. And then think about what I said and apply it to the experience that you now have. I said, because I know you're going to do it anyway. I said, but just do it with knowledge and awareness and understanding and know that he's going to do this. And then when he does it, learn the lesson. And then you'll know not to do it again.
Right. And that's the best way to learn. Pain is a good teacher. So, we just, the way we are, we have to learn the hard way sometimes for those lessons to really sink in and let's learn them fully. So I'm that way with the kids. It's like when they get older, it's like, okay, I love y'all, but you have to learn from your own mistakes. You have to make your own decisions. And, with my oldest daughter, she's very open and honest with me. Even if I don't want to hear it or know about it, she's telling me about it, and that was really hard at first.
Yeah.
It can be hard at times, but I would rather her be able to talk to me and tell me these things and us have these conversations and me give her this, be able to give her advice, whether she takes it or not. I know it'll stick in there. And even if nothing else, after the fact, she'll realize, well, Mom said this.
It'll be after. That's when she'll hear you, is after.
Right. Now she'll listen to Mom. Mom did say this.
Yeah. And when you're screaming at each other and she's going, yeah, well, Mom, when you was my age, you went and did this and you did this and you're just a hypocrite.
Right. And that's what it would be. So it's like, what can you do? You can't sit there and say, oh, you can't go do this. You can't do that, or don't do this, or you're grounded about this or that. No, we were young. We did stupid shit. I got to let them do their stupid shit too.
Go and do it. This is what's going to happen. Now go and do it. I'll come give you a hug. I'll give you a hug when he breaks your heart. And I won't say I told you so, but I'll tell you now. I'm telling you so. So risk taking is, we understand that to risk, to not do something is to risk not growing and not moving forward. He says down the bottom here, reaching the goal is not success. Success is moving towards the goal, because the goal represents growth. And it's like you said, you've got to, if we're not growing and expanding, then we're contracting. And if we're contracting, then we're moving in the wrong direction. Everything's either moving towards life or it's moving towards either creation or disintegration. Like a plant, take a plant, for example, as it grows, it doesn't reach a point where it's not growing anymore. It's either growing and it's expanding, or it's starting to contract and it's moving towards death. So we're either growing and expanding and moving towards life, or we're contracting and regressing and moving towards death. And goals help us to keep moving forward towards growth. That's the real purpose of a goal, is its continual expansion of awareness and experience. And that's what we're on. In my belief, that's what we're here to do, is to experience and to grow and to expand and to create greater levels of awareness. So you're going to have to take risks to do that. We know that. And at the bottom of the page here, it says, liberate yourself from the crippling emotional state of fear and enter into a world of freedom. So really, the reason that we don't take risks is because staying where we are is always safe. You could have stayed where are we now? April. 5 months ago, when you turned the job down initially, you could have stayed and everything would have been familiar and everything would have been safe, and you wouldn't have been risking anything, apart from you wouldn't be going on a cruise now. You wouldn't be having a nice washer, dryer. All of these things, you risked not having them. The first time round, none of this would be happening if you'd not taken that risk. So it really comes down to this, liberate yourself from the crippling emotional state of fear, because it's a fear that always holds us back, right? It's fear of the unknown. We're terrified. Everybody, it's like a natural state for any human being to suddenly become uneasy when we have to move into the state of the unknown. Nobody likes that, but that's where everything is that we want. So in the workbook, this is the You Were Born Rich workbook. I'm not going to go through, there's not a lot of literature on this actually. You can just look through that yourself. But we've got this diagram here: bondage, reason, terror barrier, freedom. And what I wanted to do today was really explain what this means. So when you actually look at this diagram, you can have an understanding of that. And what this is all about is how to liberate yourself from the crippling emotional state of fear. And that's what I'm going to share with you in this session, rather than the maybe I wanted that, going through the chapter of the book. So can we see if you've got this terror barrier?
Yes.
Picture here. Where are we? Okay, so we're going to work. So we've got the same diagram here. This is from the Thinking into Results program. So I wanted to share this with you. Bondage, reason, conflict, freedom. So this is what's happening that we've talked about in the You Were Born Rich, is that we've got this power that flows to us and through us. And as we condition that power, that energy, it comes out as our result here. So typically what we've got is an X-type belief conditioning at the subconscious level, which we know it's come from our little life, it's come from our experiences. This X-type conditioning creates X-type thoughts and X-type behavior. As a result, this energy that comes through us has X-type conditioning. The end result of that is we get an X-type result. And that result is a result that is predictable. We know what it is. It's a repeat result of whatever we experience in our life. So this is what happens. This is how it works, and this is why we experience fear. And this is when we understand this, we can move through this fear. Doesn't make the fear of taking action, of taking risks, go away. What it does, it gives us awareness and understanding of what's going on in our mind and body, and it allows us to work with it. So the first phase here is the bondage. So right now we're all in a state of bondage. By that I mean we're bound by our conditioning. Your X-type conditioning creates X-type thoughts, X-type behavior, X-type results. We know that we can originate. The second step is reason, and reason is thinking. And we know from what we've discussed and what we've been learning is that you have the power to originate a new idea within your conscious mind. So you can take an outside idea, and we'll call that a Y idea, a new idea, and originate that in the conscious mind. But as we know, also, it's the subconscious mind that's controlling your behavior, the habitual behavior. So in the second phase, you originate a new idea. So right now, your new idea is to create a yoga retreat. Let's take that as the example. That's the idea, but the conditioning, but that idea hasn't been impressed upon the subconscious mind yet. It's still just an idea, a concept, a dream, a wish, a goal. You're still being driven by this X-type conditioning at the subconscious level. And as a result, you're still going to get X-type results. So we've got this here. Bondage. Reason is when you originate a new idea. Everything else stays the same, but you're starting to create a goal, create a new idea. The third stage in this process is conflict. And what's going to happen now is you're going to start to impress this new idea upon the subconscious mind. So now you enter a state where it's not just an idea anymore. You're starting to impress this to become a part of your conditioning, because this is what we have to do. We have to create these new beliefs and values and rules and ideas. So what happens now is you end up with the Y idea, the new idea, starting to be impressed in the subconscious mind, but you also have got the old idea, the old conditioning there. And what happens is it moves you into a chaotic state. You start now to move into a state of confusion and worry and fear and anxiety, because what happens is you end up with an XY vibration now. So once this all starts to play out, you're going to end up with worry on the conscious level. You're going to start to experience fear at a subconscious level, and it's going to move you into a state of anxiety. Because we've got a chaotic vibration, you're starting to have destabilize your beliefs and your ideas. You're going to start to destabilize all of this. What happens at that point is you hit a terror barrier. This is the unknown here. And what happens is it bounces you right back to bondage. So, for example, I would say that when you quit, when like, it's really interesting that the first time that with your new job, well, with your job, the first time you rejected it, this diagram here would explain to me why you did that. It's because you took the idea, you applied for the job. They said you can have the job, and then you went, oh shit. And all of a sudden, this is what's happening. You've got worry, fear, anxiety, you've got doubt. You don't know whether you can do it. You're moving into a place where you haven't been before. You've got all kinds of, am I worthy? Am I deserving? Can I perform? Have I got the skills? Am I the right person? All of these questions would have come into your mind. And your immediate response to that was, get the hell out of here. So what happened was you rejected the idea, you rejected the opportunity, you rejected the possibility, and you went straight back to this position here, to what you knew and where you were safe. Luckily for you, you called them back. But actually, I accept your position. I accept the position. And then what happens is you bounce through that to freedom. So now, looking back, 4 or 5 months later, you realise that you could do the job. You were the right person. That there isn't anything to really be worried about. There wasn't anything to really be worried about. You've got the issue with spending time with your family or whatever, but what you've actually done is create freedom for yourself. You've brought a whole list of things into your life that you actually wanted, like the hotel, the holidays, the utilities, the extra money, not just that, but from a mental standpoint, your attitude towards money's changed. It's made you more relaxed. It's given you freedom mentally. So you've bounced through this terror barrier to freedom. And then what happens is you're now in bondage again, because your why idea has now become your X type conditioning. So as we talked about on this call today, you earn $90,000 a year now. You don't accept anything less than that. That's your default amount. If anybody offers you less than that, you're just going to say, yeah, thanks, but no, because that's all that you'll accept for yourself. You expect an abundance, and you get it. You're in that vibration. You're in that new vibration. That's your self-worth. You know that you're worth that. You know you can earn that. You know that you've got the skills, and you're not going to accept anything less. So even though you're now back in bondage, that X-type conditioning is a much bigger conditioning. You took the risk, you went through the terror barrier, and your reward for that was freedom. Now you're in bondage with new conditioning. Because now you've got to go to 150 or 200 or 250 or 500 or 1,000,000.
Right, you gotta keep climbing up that ladder.
You got to keep climbing up the ladder, and each time you've got to create a new idea, a new goal, a new concept. You've got to impress that new belief, that new idea into the subconscious mind, and you've got to take action. You've got to go through this process. So really, like here, they've drawn this terror barrier as like a brick wall, which really I would look at it more as, when you watch people like running the like marathons on the TV, and at the end of the race they've just got this ribbon, and they're running like this, and they just run through the ribbon, and the ribbon falls to the ground, and they won the race. I would look at the terror barrier more like that, because 9 times out of 10, the thing that you were scared of is actually something that you embrace and you enjoy.
Yeah.
You realize, actually, that thing that I was really terrified of doing, I actually really enjoy doing it. It was only the fear of the unknown that prevented you from actually taking that action. So we've got another diagram here as well that describes this, and I'm gonna work through this. So where are we going to start? So, as previously shown, ignorance leads to everything a person does not want, while knowledge puts you on the path that we're all meant to follow. You'll notice that the elements that stand between understanding and knowledge is study. Although there are many forms of study, it's only the only means by which a person can develop understanding required to go from one success to another, thereby creating a life that we've designed to enjoy. So this is what happens when we don't understand what's going on. We end up in this negative vibration, and on a conscious level, like through ignorance, we end up creating worry and doubt at a conscious level. On a subconscious level, it's fear, and on a physical level, that manifests as anxiety. And if that continues, it turns into, here we go. So the opposite of doubt and worry, this is where we want to go here. Doubt and worry registers on a conscious level. As the doubt is internalized, it causes fear on a subconscious level. That fear must be expressed in the only way that it can, and that is through the body. The body moves into a vibration more commonly referred to as anxiety. And we know that we're getting the law of vibration and attraction is that the vibration that we're in is going to be what we attract. People don't express anxiety, it's internalized. The anxiety is suppressed. The suppression then turns into depression, and depression is actually anger turned inward. Depression turns into dis-ease, a body that is not at ease. The dis-ease expressed in the body causes the body to break down and move into a state better known as disintegration. And this is what we've just been talking about. It's either create or disintegrate. You're either in a state of creation where you're moving forward and growing and expanding, or you're moving into a state of disintegration where you're moving backwards towards disintegration. And this is what happens. If you think about, like, you look around you, this here is a typical state for most people. It's like you said, like, you hand the money over, even though you had it, doubt and worry registers in your conscious mind. You get anxiety. This is what was happening with you. That anxiety is suppressed into the body, and it's expressed, and it moves you into that vibration, and it creates a negative environment for you to experience. These are all negative states. Every one of them could be eliminated by developing an understanding of the laws of nature, as well as working with the mind coupled with faith. So this is what we're talking about here. Ignorant. This is coming from a place of ignorance. Worry, doubt, fear, anxiety, suppression, depression, and disease.
I feel like I lived in that little state right there for a long time.
Yeah, and look what it did for you.
And it stayed like it was until it just got worse and worse. And like living with all that anxiety and stress and worry, it's like then when my dad passed away and got depressed, is like it turned into the depression, which is this disease. It will eat you alive. So
yeah.
It was just really, like, looking back, I mean, yeah, it's like, wow, it's crazy. I mean, that's really what happened. So to be out of that state,
yeah,
it's great. It is. It's really like breaking free from chains to not be in that bondage anymore.
And it's not to say that it's not going to happen again in your life. Like, it will happen again, because everything is cyclical. We can't live in a world of 100% positivity. It goes up and down. But the difference is you'll never have to stay in that state for a long time ever again, and you'll have a boat to paddle your way out of it. Like, people who get depression, they get into a pit what they can't get out of, don't they? And they just keep digging and digging and digging, and they're almost to the point where they actually enjoy it. That's been my experience. But when you've realised that you're here in this state, you know that you have a choice, and you have a toolkit to get out of it. You have awareness and understanding to be able to turn it around. And this is the other side of this. We've got ignorance on one side, and then we've got knowledge on the other side. And the opposite of doubt and worry is understanding. It exists on a conscious level. So in the conscious mind here, we have understanding rather than worry and doubt. The understanding allows to eliminate the worry and the doubt. Understanding leads to an emotional state which we can call faith. So we're back again to the same thing. Faith is expressed on a physical level as well-being. That's a good vibration. Well-being is never suppressed; it's always expressed. You don't say, oh, I'm so happy and excited." You just jump around and you're up and down, and the individual is sending out good energy to the universe, and of course the universe rewards them by sending back like energy. So this is the thing, it's with the, if you pay your bills with joy and love, that $3,000 bill that you've got for your cruise, the Agatha of 12 months ago would have probably gritted her teeth and kind of looked away as she was giving the money away in a state of worry, doubt, fear, and anxiety. And you'd have got to the end of the 14 days or the 7 days and gone, oh, well, now we've lost 3,000. Now we're $3,000 down. And then you would have had that gap to fill. Whereas if you pay that bill with love and joy and happiness, and you focus on all the like bonding that you're going to have with your partner and with your kids, and the memories that it's going to create, and all the joy and happiness that it's going to bring, and when you give that money over with that essence, with that feeling, that's what's going to come back to you. The money's going to come back to you, because giving money is receiving money, and it's going to come back to you with all of those emotions amplified. So well-being is never suppressed, it's always expressed, and the individual is sending out good energy into the universe. And of course, the universe rewards that by sending back like energy. That expression is what leads to momentum. The momentum is commonly referred to as a state of acceleration. All this happens because the body's in a vibration that is the polar opposite to disease. It's at ease. You're in a state of relaxation. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. It's it's the result of long and patient effort in self-control. All this happens because the body is in a vibration that is the polar opposite to disease. It's at ease. And that enables a person to continue moving in a creative vibration. So the opposite to this is knowledge and understanding. And the key to that is to study, is to continually devote yourself to lifelong learning and studying. And what that does is create a state of faith, which moves you into a state of well-being. When you know that you're always going to be taken care of, when you know that you've got nothing to worry about, when you truly believe that, like you said with the job, you're like, I just know it's going to happen. What you've done is create a state of faith. Create a state of faith, and you've put that into the subconscious mind. That's become your program. That's become a part of your belief system. What has happened is that is going to be expressed. That's moved you into a state of vibration. You could easily quit your job, go, I hate my job, I can't bear it anymore, I'm a bit away from my family, I'm away from my kids, I don't care about the money, get back to Huntsville and move into a state of worry, doubt, fear and anxiety about where the next job's going to come from, who's going to pay the bills, etc., etc. Or through knowledge and understanding, you can say, you know what, it's time for me to move on. I'm going to take the risk because my faith is going to make it so. I don't know where the job's going to come from. I don't know who's going to give it me. I don't know how it's going to manifest into my life, but I know that it's there waiting for me. I know that it's going to come to me as soon as I make myself available to that opportunity. What that does is move your body into that vibration. And as we know from the law of attraction and vibration, the vibration is the primary law, which is what he's saying here through, the individual is sending good energy into the universe. So he's talking about a basic understanding of these laws of the universe. I can't see where it is exactly, and working with them, and that's what you're doing, moving your body into a positive vibration. The law of attraction is responding to that. It's not magic. It's not hocus pocus or mumbo jumbo. It's just everything in the universe is a frequency. That's it. Everything is just energy. The first law that we looked at in the first session, I think, when we did the natural laws, is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. In that, if we go back to this diagram here, this is it. This is the energy. It's moving to you and through you. This is the frequency here, and it's turning in to whatever is going on here, whatever your conditioning is, whatever your vibration is. I don't know if we talked about, like, say, I've been talking quite a lot recently about I can't remember where I read it. It's in one of my books about the two pianos in a room, and the guy was saying if you hit the C note on one piano, the C note is going to resonate on the other piano. And it's the only note that can resonate. You're not going to get a G sharp resonating when you hit a C note on the other piano. If you hit a G sharp note on the first piano, the G sharp will resonate on the second piano. And that's us. If we imagine whatever note we're resonating in ourselves, the universe is going to resonate at the same frequency. So if you resonate from a state of well-being, from faith, from just a good vibration, just being in a good vibration of love, joy, happiness, abundance, prosperity, gratitude, that's all you need to do, is to look for the good and to feel the good in everything. And it's just going to resonate straight back to you. Really simple, isn't it?
It's easier said than done sometimes, though, huh? It's getting easier. It really is. Like, the more just let it resonate with you and study this and, live your life this way, the easier it is to do so.
Yeah. But you're in a good vibration now. You're in a really good vibration now, aren't you? I can tell.
I feel like I am. I feel like I'm in a good vibration.
Well, you're living life, you're enjoying yourself, you're making the most of things, you're looking to the future, you're creating constructively, you've got goals, ideas, you're thinking about everything around you.
I try to make a conscious effort to stay in a positive vibration.
You're not in a state of disorientation, are you? You're not in a state of depression, suppression, anxiety, and disease. You're in a calm, collected state. You're making decisions rationally and confidently, and from a place of faith and belief and understanding. And the thing is, you can, like, be aware of what's going on. That would be my advice to you, because the more you see this happening, the more you see yourself resonate. Like, when you resonate in a positive vibration and you see the reflection of that in your environment, that's proof that this is all real. It can be like even for me, like, sometimes it's hard to believe that, like, is that really it? If I feel good, everything's going to come good. It's like, okay, well, I teach this and I get it, but sometimes I still struggle with that. You think, no, surely not. You still put my faith to the outside circumstances sometimes, less and less and less. But as you start to see correlation between how you feel and what's happening, you can start to validate all of this for yourself, and you go, you know what, this state of faith is actually, this really is a bona fide creative force. If faith and belief really are creative forces, these really do determine the state of my life. And then your faith and your belief become stronger because you recognize the connection. And as they become stronger, you become more powerful. And as you become more powerful and you start to see your results becoming more and more concrete, your faith and your belief get stronger. and you just go on and on. You get into a self-perpetuating cycle where you just get stronger and stronger and more powerful and more creative, and that you start to realize that, like, if you're being honest with me now, right, we'll be honest with each other. Your yoga retreat, that's your goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, like, on a scale, like, where do you believe it's going to happen?
Oh, I know it's going to happen, Corey. Like,
Yeah.
I'm up here when it comes to that, because as far as my life purpose and goal and mission is not just the yoga aspect, but the holistic medication and helping others. So, you know, as far as the level I want up here, it's probably going to start smaller. You know, I'm probably going to have to work up to what I want.
Yeah.
But I have this image in my head of how it's going to work, and it's going to happen.
So it's done then.
It's done. It's done.
Done. Everything happens through, like, series of events anyway. It's like we talked before. You build a foundation before you build the turrets on a castle. Otherwise, the castle will fall down before the turrets are built. You don't start big. You start with the first step.
Yeah, so there's that first step. I'm going to have to keep climbing through these steps to get there, but that's okay, because I'm going to keep climbing and I'm going to get to the top eventually.
And you're going to hit these terror barriers because what you're doing is going into uncharted territory. But isn't that really exciting?
It is. I mean, so much of it's new. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to come across things that I might fail at that first time. But like you said, I mean, I can't let that failure hold me back. I'm going to have to get up, dust myself off, and start climbing again. Yeah, that's one thing I've always told my girls too, like, is fail, and fail again until you shall succeed.
Yeah.
Because you're going to fail. You know, it's like you were saying earlier, that's part of learning. That's part of life. You know, that's okay. That's how we learn. So, yeah, it's like, don't let that hold you back. Don't let that fear of failing hold you back. Just get up and try. If you fail, get up and try again.
But, like, what is failure anyway? It's just feedback. That's all it is. So, well, that didn't work. You know, it's like if you go to, like, some stupid example that's just coming to my head. If you go to the, like, chemist and you buy some shampoo, or the supermarket for your hair, and it doesn't really work and you don't like it, that's a failure. And you just go back.
Want to buy it again.
Just go back and you buy a different brand until you find one that you like, and then you stick with it. But
I mean, that's why failure is not a bad thing at all. I mean, if you think about the planes we have, the electricity, if these people gave up because they failed, we would never have a lot of the stuff that we have. You know, it's something they believed in. They had this vision, they had this belief that, you know, we could fly, you know, in planes, or, you know, we could have electricity. And, you know, they didn't give up on their belief. They kept failing until they succeeded. So, you know, I mean, failure is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And it shows that you are actually taking action and moving towards. People who don't fail by not trying. That's the, like, the really sad thing, is most people fail to try because of fear of failing. They'd rather say, well, I didn't fail, because I never did it. That's where most people are at. And the really sad thing is that they failed by not trying. They failed by default. I was talking to a guy one time, and I said, I really admire people that fail. And he suddenly just turned around and looked at me like, he's like, what? And I said, because they're trying. I said, they're the people that actually are taking action towards their goals, and they're the people that are actually trying to create something. The people that don't fail are people that are not even taking any action, because you can't take action without failing. It's impossible. How can you move forward without failure? Like, a baby doesn't just get up and walk. You didn't imagine, like, when you started to read, it's like you go and you remember how we start to read. It's like interesting, interest. It's like, no, you idiot, that's not the word. You failed. Oh well, I'll just quit. I feel stupid now. you just carry on doing it, and eventually you get it. It's all part of the learning and the growth and the expansion that we all go through as spiritual beings. But I think ultimately, like on this planet, our purpose and our journey is to grow and to create as much, like to have as many experiences that we can, and to expand our awareness as much as we can possibly expand it, and fill that with experience. And if you're not afraid, if you're afraid to take action, then you're in bondage. You stay in bondage. And people do it. A lot of people, like, how many people do you know, like the factories in your city, that are there for 20 years, 30 years? I talk to these people all the time. And, I say, so how long have you been working there for? Oh, 20 years. How much longer have you got left? Another 8 years. Well, it pays the bills. How many times have you heard that? Oh, well, it pays the bills.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of these people they get in these factory jobs, and it's like, that's all there is around here. I don't plan on moving out of this town, going anywhere. So they get settled at this factory job and know it pays the bills. And
so what's your goal then? To exist?
Right. Some people are just content with that. They don't know any different.
They don't know any different, and it's the terror barrier. The thought of doing something different. How many people get locked in relationships that it's so wrong?
Because it's their comfort zone, because that's what they know. They don't want to change.
It's like, I hate you, but I know you. So, and I'm totally, so that's one thing, and I'm totally scared that somebody else might not want me. So I'd rather settle with somebody that I hate, that I'm totally unhappy with, but at least to be comfortable. At least I'm comfortable in all of that. And people stay in their relationships, these relationships. You see it over and over and over again. But this is the key, this terror barrier, to know that this is what keeps us stuck. And when you get those butterflies, that you're moving forward. When the things that you don't want to do are the things that you should be doing, that are going to move you forward, that are going to create all the things in your life that you want. And I love that now. I'm not feeling like I'm constantly thinking, like, if a few days go by and I'm getting pretty comfortable, I'm thinking I'm not doing what I need to be doing to create the success in my life that I want. It's easy for me to do that, and it's easy for me to do that. That's just a routine. That's just a habit. It's the things that are not habitual that I need to develop are the things that are going to move me forward. And they're always the things that, like, for example, with me, I need to be more proactive in calling businesses. I want to take what I'm teaching, to businesses. So I need to get on the phone and start calling businesses. And I'm like, I'm not very good at that. It's not my thing. So I don't do it.
Yeah, you procrastinate and put it off.
Yeah. I think, well, maybe there's another way I can do it. No. The fact that I'm thinking about it constantly is that I know I need to do it. And what'll happen is eventually I'll do it. I'm probably going to do it next week, I hope. I'll get good at it, and then it's like I'm like, oh well, I get I can for every 3 businesses I call, I can get an appointment with one of them. I'm an expert at setting appointments with businesses from cold calls. I love doing it. I love the challenge of getting a 1 in 3 conversion rate. And then it becomes something that it's like, well, now I'm growing my business. I know that I can, if I need a few new clients, all I need to do is make a few calls, set up a few appointments, do some presentations, and I know that I'm going to get some new clients, because what is really amazing, and I know that it can help them. But I don't do it because it's out of my comfort zone. I'm hitting the terror barrier, and as a result, I find a reason to justify doing something else that I'm actually comfortable with. But the thing that I'm doing that's comfortable, it's just giving me a repeat prescription.
I have to make myself, when it comes to some of this computer stuff, because I'm not a computer person, and I'm having to do a data harvest, and they had to send me instructions yesterday. But it's like, just sit down and do some of this stuff. It's a little overwhelming to me at times, because like, oh, I don't know how to do that, or just it's just aggravating. It's like, hey, how long is this going to take? You know, do I really have to do this? All this is going through my mind. So, well, finally, it's like to do whatever I got to do. I'll sit down and do it. It's like, okay, that wasn't so bad. Usually that's the way I feel about it. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And, you know, and I feel better and I'm more confident each time I go in there and do what I got to do. And eventually, like you said, it'll become second nature to where, okay, it's no big deal because I know how to do it. I don't have to look at my notes or anything else, and I won't think anything about it.
Well, you at some point in the near future, you're going to have to go from an employee to an employer. You're going to have to go from an employee to an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And at that point, you're going to need to have a whole new set of skills to carry you forward. And one of those skills is probably going to be computer literacy in systems and all of these things that, like, if you've got a clear vision of what you want, everything that is happening to move you. If you're in that vibration, then everything that's happening is happening to move you towards that outcome.
And I do believe, just like me being the manager here in this position and the computer, all, you know, being out here on the road, I have to do everything through the phones and through the computer and through technology. So I'm getting better and better and more comfortable with it, but there's still so much I need to learn and do when it comes to that aspect. So,
yeah,
you know, I do feel like this is part of it. I'm here for a reason, and there's a lot of knowledge I'm able to gain to take with me where I'm at right now.
yeah.
And this is going to be an ongoing process. You know, the next step, there'll be something, you know, a lot to gain and learn from where I'm at that point as well to continue moving forward. So,
Yeah.
it's just,
There's always a reason why something's happening. And that reason is always for your development, for you to become the person you need to become. If you approach it from that perspective, if you say this is happening because there's a lesson in this situation that I need to learn. You know, you hear the story, you hear people saying all the time, like the same situation will just continue to repeat in your life until you learn the lesson. And once you learn the lesson, you master it, and then it doesn't happen anymore. Everything's always teaching us a lesson. So if you can kind of take a step back and say, well, what is the lesson that this situation is teaching me? How is this helping me to become the person that I need to become in order to achieve the outcomes that I want to achieve? And then you can start to appreciate the value in it, I think. Rather than going, I hate this. This is not me. I'm not computer literate. This is not really what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm struggling. It's late. I've not got to read an instruction manual. You say, okay, well, this has got to happen. This is happening to teach me something. What is it? Why am I having to do this skill? I'm having to do it with my business, things like accounting and all sorts of systems that I'm not interested in at all. But I know that I've got to master them if I want to go to the next level. So I just embrace it. I'm trying to embrace it. So, okay, well, this is to teach me that I need to get much better at my bookkeeping. I need to get much better at my accounting. I need to get much better at prospecting. I need to get much better at all of these different aspects of my business and of myself as well. I need to master myself as well. I need to, like, the success of my business is my ability to communicate with people as well. At the like front end of it, it's like I'm teaching people how to master themselves. I have to be a master of myself. Otherwise, I'm just being disingenuous and dishonest. Can't. I see the stamp on your hand there. So everything can be. We can look at everything from a perspective of growth and teaching and learning and moving forward. So,
yeah, like I said, we have to practice what we preach.
Absolutely. You've got to be the general that leads from the front of the army.
Right. You do. You gotta just lead by example, and I mean, if you want people to believe you, then yeah, you gotta believe it and practice it yourself.
I want to be. I want to be in the army with the commander gets on his horse and he's off into the enemy. I don't want to be in the battle where the guy stood on the hill looking down, going, "Yeah, you guys will be all right."
Right. Like way to encourage there.
Yeah, I don't have much trust and faith in that guy. So, right. Well, have you got any questions for me? I'm going to wrap it up if that's all right.
No, I'm fixing to go in here and get me some breakfast and start packing up. I've got to get on the road here in a few.
On the road again, going places that I've never been.
Through the hills and valleys, like that's one thing about Kentucky. There's a lot of mountains around here too. So
well, you've got some nice views, haven't you? We've got a lot of
I do.
Yeah, it's an amazing country to look at as you're driving.
No, I love my mountains.
It's Easter Sunday next week. So are you with your family or are we gonna do a session? How's it gonna work for you?
I've not decided 100% whether I'm going home or not. I mean, it is Easter next week and I would like to go home.
Yeah.
But Easter's on Sunday, and like as far as Sunday goes, I would have to leave and travel, and considering I'm going to South Carolina, that's such a big drive. So I don't know. I may see if I don't know if I could get the girls and them to come up to where I'm going to be in Tennessee for the night, and then them go back home. I'm thinking about trying to do something like that as far as getting them to come out for just one night next weekend.
Yeah.
But it's still up in the air. I'm not for sure, but either they'll come up for one night or I'll just stay where I'm at, you know.
Right.
That's something I got to do this week is order them something for Easter and have it sent to them. So it'll be on the doorstep.
So do you want to play it by ear then for next Sunday?
Yeah, I'll send you an email. I mean, it may be like next Friday before I know 100%, know for sure. That's one thing with this job is it changes so much that it's kind of hard to plan a lot in advance. Sometimes I have a week or two I can kind of plan, but yeah, even then things change. So, like I was told oh my gosh, I just made hotel arrangements. They messaged me and told me somebody else was coming to join me. So I had to call all these places back, add another room to wake up the next morning and tell me, oh, now this person's not coming. So I had to call all these hotels back again and cancel the room I had just added. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm flexible. So I'm either gonna be here if you need me or I'm not if you don't. So if you just let me know. If you send me an email, just send me if you send me an email and say you're going to be around or you're not. Obviously, if your girls come up or whatever, you're probably going to want to be spending the time with them, right?
Yeah.
So just let me know on that one.
Oh, well, I mean, if you got plans or something you want to do, I mean, we'll skip next week if we need to.
Yeah, just like play it by ear. So okay. I've got nothing planned at the moment. So, and the other thing is I've got a favour to ask if I can.
What's that, Corey?
Can I borrow $10,000, please?
$10,000?
Yeah.
I don't have $10,000 at the moment.
Oh, come on! You're a woman of means. No, I'm joking. Would it be possible to get you to write me a testimonial?
No, I could do that.
Have you got a Facebook account?
I do.
So I've got a Facebook page. What I'm doing is the people I'm working with, just getting them to write a testimonial on my Facebook page. I'll send you an email with the details.
Okay.
And obviously, I don't want you to write anything that's not true, but just I'll maybe send you some questions just for you to answer.
Okay.
Just so.
Yeah, send me an email and so ask some questions. I guess if that works for you, and send me a friend request on Facebook.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to find you first, but.
Yeah, I don't think there's many Agathas out there. So if you type in my name,
Agatha Johnson.
Yes, it should come up for you.
I'll do that. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. Love talking to you. It's always a pleasure to have a chat.
Good talking to you. And we'll play it by ear for next week. So we'll see how it goes. And either way, I'll email you and let you know what's going on. And you do the same if something comes up.
Go and get some ham and eggs.
Talk to you later, Corey.
Take care.
Bye.